Well, good morning, all you folks in YouTube land. 'Tis I, Professor Ludwig von Futpence. I'm going to try and make this short and sweet. Well, maybe not so sweet. If you guys are concerned about the direction of our country and what's going to be left to our children and grandchildren, go watch Brett Baer's interview on Fox News with Commie Kamala Harris. It is scathing. I don't know what else to say. I've never seen anything like this fool. And for anyone who's contemplating voting for this moronic fool, listen to what she says. Listen, think, and think back over the Trump administration. I'm not saying Trump's perfect, okay? But look at where we were as far as the economy goes. Look at the inflationary situation. 1.4% when these fools inherited the economy. Trump is one of the only ones, even with a lot of the commentators I listen to, Trump is right on the money with energy. The cost of energy, you got to understand oil is a commodity, okay? We can all invest in oil if we want to. But the idea of shutting down the Keystone XL, pulling Anwar off of the platform to go and drill there to produce, locking up federal lands, restricting through environmental regulation, which it's absurd what they're doing with some of this stuff and delaying permitting. That's the key cause. And anyone who owns a truck or does any kind of transportation logistics knows that when the price of fuel goes up $2 a gallon, it has repercussions, okay? The cost of transportation, the cost of doing business, the cost of producing anything, whether it be a widget or a log or whatever it is, goes up exponentially. And that cost is passed on, all right? Hence inflation. And then not to mention printing trillions and trillions of dollars that have nothing behind it. You know, we used to have a gold and a silver standard that's gone. We have nothing behind this money. But the good faith of our federal government, well, unfortunately, with these people running the show, the good faith is in jeopardy. Hence BRIC. If you know what BRIC is, go look into it. Okay, I believe it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, trying to move the dollar off the world standard. Trading, you know, the dollar has been the benchmark for years. So the repercussions of that are just not good. But look into that. Study into it yourself. But anyway, what she says, they're not even answers. They're drivel. How anyone can be sucked in by this nitwit is mind-boggling to me. And apparently it's people who are either cloistered in academia and are filling your kids' heads full of filth when they go to college, or it's people who just don't do anything and have subsidy for their lives. In other words, they're being paid by the government to stay home or do nothing or whatever. How do they have any skin in the game, as Obama said before? You got to have skin in the game. Yeah, well, they don't. So they don't realize or know what it is to produce anything. So, but they still vote. You know, remember that. But my point is, the real people who are out here rolling in the mud every day trying to make something happen, trying to produce, pay bills, and survive, are struggling. There's a handful of people that have done well with the markets and everything. Well, that's good for them. Okay, but I think that's a bloated mess too, because it doesn't seem to be based on anything real. The market situation right now. So we'll see what happens with that. I think there's going to be a huge correction. So those people who are delving in that better pay attention. You see Buffett and what's his name, Zuckerberg, and all these people selling off, market shares. Buffett sold off what 90 billion or 90 million or whatever it was in Bank of America. What's going on there? Look into that too. It's very telling. But my point being that anybody who can suck up what she's saying, you really need your head examined. There's nothing based in reality with what she says. She lies through her teeth. She talks about the border situation as if rescinding the laws that were implemented under Trump, which unfortunately some were done via executive order because Congress can't get anything done because there are too many liberal idiots. But the absolute lies that are perpetrated on the American people from these people and the mainstream media is shameful. They're shameless. And I'd like to specifically tell you young people who are in college or college age or whatever, you better think this through. Because if these people implement their policies, you will own nothing and like it. Okay? That's the globalist agenda, and it's right at our door. We're at the tipping point. So if you people who are going to spend $60,000 a year or 40 or whatever on an education, if you want somewhere to go after you get that education to work, you better think of the consequences of this bunch of idiots running things. They have no economic sense. They don't understand the simplest basic points of economics. I got a 10th grade education. The only thing that I have is 44 years of being a sole proprietor in a small business. And for some reason, that makes you quite aware of simple economic conditions. I'm not so sure some of these experts, remember what an expert is. An X is a has-been and a spurt is done under pressure, okay? So some of these experts who've been cloistered in academia all their lives, I don't think they know shit from Shinola. But you kids, you young people, if you want businesses for you to work for and pay back your student loans and so on, instead of expecting someone else to pay them for you, because it ain't no different, boys and girls, than me at 17 years old going to get a loan for $45,000. At that time now, I'm 60. So how many years ago was that? Okay. For a skidder, a wood splitter, and a conveyor, and a dump truck. It ain't no different. That's what I invested my future in, and I paid it back. I did get some help from my folks because they saw I was a worker. And they did help me a little bit. They co-signed a note for me and whatnot. And then I was forgiven. I was forgiven $3,000 of the note or whatever, which was nice. I mean, they believed in me enough to do that. Okay, but that's personal. That's private. Okay. If you think that if these clowns implement what they want to do to us and finish us off, there ain't going to be no work for you. There ain't going to be no jobs for you. And to be quite honest, when the government subsidies dry up, the last thing in this economy or this type of economy for parents, they're not going to have the money to send their kids to university. They're not. That's not essential. The essentials is keeping a roof over your heads, food, water, hopefully a job for some kind of income. There's not going to be money for academia. So you nitpicking liberal pinheads in academia who are pushing this Marxist revolution on the children and brainwashing everything that their parents taught them out of their heads and filling them with this absolute nonsense. You better watch out too, because one of the first things to go down the tube if there's no money is going to be university. And it's happening now. I happen to have a close friend of mine, believe it or not. He's a PhD at one of the local universities. And he said enrollment's down like by 30%. Okay? So these institutions, are they going to burn through their endowments? Maybe. I don't know. But they're going to have to either shut down, file bankruptcy, or reduce their size if there's no one can afford to send their kids there anymore, which may be a good thing. I don't know. They could go get a trade and actually go to work if we have a good economy. So if you people, you need to think about this and think about it's more than Donald Trump's mean tweets, or it's more than his, braggadocious, whatever you want to call it, personality or whatever. The dude got it done, and he will get it done. And your futures are in jeopardy. So I would really clearly try and implement some common sense here. But anybody, I'm telling you right now, as far as I'm concerned, take it for what it's worth. This is my 2 cents. Anybody who can endorse or follow that nitwit, Kamala Harris, and Tim Walz, you need your head examined. They might make a pill for that. It's probably a red pill. Okay, whatever. I've said enough. I've gone far enough. But listen, pray for our country. Pray that people wake up and see the light here and see what's going on. And I might make another comment another time. But have a good day, guys. Ta-ta.